Naughty Dog put out a post today on Twitter, I guess on all their platforms, and said an update about the Last of Us faction, basically. And the update reads as follows. I'm not going to summarize it, most of it, but you get the point. We realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game. We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last of Us faction community who have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we are looking forward to putting it in your hands. We wanted to share with you some background on how we came to the decision. And then they go into it about how, they basically would have ended up only being focused on making a multiplayer game and not being able to do no more single player games. And so they decided to basically just come to the conclusion that it needed to be shut down and go back to what they're known for, which is their single player games. And they're working on a couple of them, and they can't wait to show it off in the near future, blah, blah, blah. My thing is, why were they trying to make this such a grandiose thing, though? Like, I know PlayStation wanted, I'm getting on PlayStation's head in a little while, but I know PlayStation wanted to make all these live service games, and they announced them like too early. Like they were gonna have like 8 or 9 of them in production, some dumbass number they said, and this was one of them. And so when they were showing off like freaking like concept art at the fucking Game Awards, where would they show it off at? Was it Gamescom? I forget. When they were showing off concept, like, why? It was so early in development, y'all didn't have anything to show, so why y'all here talking about it? But I digress. I also just disagree with their point of it would have took everyone at the studio to, create this new Last of Us Online thing. We just wanted an updated factions. Like, Last of Us 2 should have came multiplayer like Last of Us 1 did. And now you're saying you couldn't do that because y'all were trying to do this grandiose live service thing. And we didn't want this game to be such a large live service thing. Let's go back to Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 multiplayer is great. It was never this huge like live service thing where they had to constantly keep updating it with, the Fortnite level of content. We didn't really want that. At least me personally, I don't want to speak to everybody, but I feel like we just wanted a modern factions and updated factions that connected to Last of Us 2, that had the mechanics of Last of Us 2, the guns of Last of Us 2, the movement, etc. And that would have been fine, bro. But because PlayStation was so insistent probably on making live service games, this shit probably blew up to the point where like it couldn't go any further. And that's such a disappointment. Because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about thank God, good riddance, go back to what you're good at. But they're good at multiplayer as well. I don't know, people don't play the multiplayer, so I understand it. But the Uncharted multiplayer was fun as fuck. The Last of Us faction obviously is fun as fuck as well. So I'm just sitting here like, people don't seem to understand that these communities are still to this day still playing that. Like they're tight, and they're like not as big because the game is like, I don't know how many years old at this point, but they're still relevant because they have nowhere else to go. Like it sucks, bro. Like, cause I loved faction when I played it on PS3 and PS4, but I stopped playing it because after a while it gets to the point where like you want to play new stuff, and it's just really unfortunate that I feel like production got so bloated and overdone that it had to be canceled, which freaking sucks. And I also found it funny that Naughty Dog turned off comments on Twitter because they knew they was finna get shit on. But it's whatever. We'll see multiplayer from Naughty Dog at some point in some fashion, I believe. I don't know when and where and how, but I feel like it's gonna be a thing because faction is so beloved. They promote everything with the fireflies, stuff like that. The Last of Us, they had the fireflies and all that stuff. They know how passionate people are about factions. They know. I just feel like they let a lot of people down for just. It wasn't their fault. I'm guessing. This is all me guessing, by the way. It wasn't their fault it's just the higher ups in Naughty Dog and the higher ups on Sony that's making them do these decisions. So yeah, another game that's gone with the wind. Another letter that's just disappointing from a game company. I'll never forget the Cyberpunk yellow letter all the fucking time. Them yellow letters was getting on my fucking nerves. But all in all, shout out to Naughty Dog. It's unfortunate that y'all had to cancel this shit, but we get it. We get it. It wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. That this does have me wondering, besides Call of Duty and I guess Battlefield, what are the games that still release single player and multiplayer like together? I'm trying to think. I believe, of course, Splatoon does it. It's not a ton of them. Like, they definitely slowed down over there, because it used to be like your game has to have a single player part and a multiplayer part. But now it's like you can just be a multiplayer game if you want to. Go free to play if you want to. Be $20 if you want to, $30, and niggas be cool with that. Like Battle Bit Remastered did amazing. It came out, I think it was what, $20, $15, $20. Boom, you got the game. Love it. Like, I'm trying to think. It's not a ton of them. It really isn't, and it's like this. It speaks volumes, because as a gaming community, we've understood. 'Cause I remember when the first we understand. I'm rambling, but we understand how like the times have changed, because when Titanfall 1 first came out and it was full price but only multiplayer, that game got shit on for good reasons, because it wasn't a lot of content. I don't think no game should be $6 and up for just multiplayer, personally. But yeah, like that game got shit on, and then Titanfall 2 came out, and then nobody bought it because it came out between two juggernaut games, unfortunately. So people didn't buy that good ass game. So, but now you can just shit out a multiplayer game by itself, and niggas won't bad eye to it, because that's all people want to play nowadays. Multiplayer. And niggas look at you weird if you say I prefer single player games, but yeah, I can't off the top of my head think of any games besides those three that are single player and multiplayer games that come out at the same time, and not co-op, because co-op is different. Co-op games will always come out. I'm talking about mainly PvP and single player campaign, and then you go through PvP afterwards. Those games don't really exist like that no more. So I guess it shows that Naughty Dog understood that early on, that you don't need that. I guess we all knew it, because I prefer single player games over multiplayer games, but I still love me a good ass multiplayer game. That's why I'm playing Fortnite right now. I love me a good chunky multiplayer game that I can just play with my friends and then go shoot somebody or do whatever I can with somebody else, and then relax afterwards. But yeah, it still sucks. Shout out to Naughty Dog, and I'm finna get on PlayStation right now.